Michelle Roberts is super busy today. Michelle Roberts is the NBA Players Association head. When these people take these jobs, whether it's Michelle Roberts in the NBA or Tony Clark in Major League Baseball, you have Donald Fear in the NHL, National Hockey League. You may know his name back from the days when he was running baseball, the baseball union, or the director of the baseball union. You just don't plan for a pandemic. You don't plan. You plan for bargaining agreements and for negotiations. You plan for the every year fights that happen the way spring follows summer or summer follows spring. I was trying to be so cool, right? And I couldn't think of the seasons because in Florida, there's 2 seasons. It's just hot and then it's hotter. But you get used to a calendar. Well, Michelle Roberts and everybody else who works for unions and, frankly, who work in the commissioner's office, they are all working triple time as they try to figure out how to recover from the pandemic, how long that recovery will be, what that recovery will look like, what is going to happen to their sports, and how do they get fans and partners and people engaged for the sole purpose of getting the money flowing again. Well, Michelle Roberts has had conference calls and plans to have conference calls with all 30 NBA teams. Well, I find that to be sort of difficult to imagine because let's pretend that you do a 1-hour call with each team and the reps and the players from that team. That means that's 30 hours of meetings. Let's say you're working really hard and do 15-hour days. That's 2 days. Do you really think she can get to all 30 teams in 2 days by coordinating the Zoom schedules of the players on those teams? I'm going to say it's going to take a little longer than a few days, but her heart is in the right place. She's calling all these NBA players because she wants to get information from them. She wants to tell them what the NBA is proposing in terms of the possible bubble at Disney World or in Vegas, what quarantining would look like, what the playoff situation would look like, what seating would look like, what the health protocols would look like, on and on and on. And she's got to get feedback. Why? Because none of this matters if the players don't vote to accept the terms, both economically and from a rule standpoint. So Michelle Roberts is going along and having these calls, and here's the exact thing she doesn't want to hear, ever. But Damian Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers said the following today. If we come back and they're just like, quote, we're adding a few games to finish the regular season and they're throwing us out there for meaningless games and we don't have a true opportunity to get into the playoffs, I'm going to be with my team because I'm part of the team, but I'm not going to be participating. I'm telling you that right now, and you can put that bleep in there. That is Damian Lillard giving a quote. Wow. Let's dig into that. He said that he's going to be with his team because, of course, that's how you get paid. I'm a part of this team, but I'm not going to be participating. Damian Lillard, if I'm the owner of the Portland Trailblazers, guess what I'm doing to you? I'm suspending you. I'm restricting you. If you have now given me cause to tell me that you are not going to play and you're not injured and you've been cleared to play, you will not get paid. Now, you may be asking, but wait a minute. Portland may not have a chance to make the playoffs. Now, you're right. They have Carmelo Anthony, so they're not going to make the playoffs. Sorry, Coca, whose idol is Carmelo Anthony, the greatest player of all time. How many rings does Carmelo have? That's right, negative rings. He'll never win a ring. You know that. That may have even been a wait to see. Anyway, the Trailblazers are currently only 3.5 games back of the Memphis Grizzlies for the 8th and final playoff spot. And if this were a regular season, the Trailblazers are right now 29-37. They've played 66 games. They have 16 games, and they're only 3.5 games back. The owner of the Portland Trailblazers has to be saying to himself, listen, we have a chance to make the playoffs, and if we can make the playoffs, that is additional revenue, whether it's even in arena signage or whether it's from a broadcasting standpoint, whether it's from a merchandise standpoint, whatever the case may be, if we have a chance to make the playoffs, we've got to play. If you look at the standings, the NBA has a small problem because there are a bunch of teams that are really close to a playoff spot. In the Western Conference alone, you've got the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, the Sacramento Kings, and the San Antonio Spurs are all within 4 games of the Memphis Grizzlies. I have a wait to see that says the regular season is finished in the NBA, and I'm sticking to that, and I believe that it's correct. However, there will have to be some sort of play-in, and what a play-in will be is the teams who I think are within not just mathematical, because mathematically there's been nobody eliminated. You can say that everybody's in it. You could even say that the Cavaliers are possibly a playoff team because in the East, they're only 11 games back of the Magic, but they're out of it for all intents and purposes. I don't think we should start a season again, a regular season, play the balance of the regular season, because the teams at the bottom, really, it's not worth risking their health at all. But if you're within shouting distance in the Eastern Conference, it's just the Wizards, maybe the Hornets and Bulls. Now, people from New York are going to be upset, but hey, you guys are basically 9.5 games back. You're out. The Knicks are out. So Damian Lillard says, well, I'm 3.5 back, but I'm not playing. Why is he saying that? Is he saying that because he's pressuring the NBA to go back and play the full regular season? No, because that's not what Michelle Roberts is telling him. There is no scenario, and you're hearing it right now, and I'm not going to say I'll eat my iPad, because that would not be realistic. People always say I'll eat my shirt, and then they try to get followers. And by the way, I'm fine if you want to follow me at David P. Samson. I'm fine if you want to tell your friends about nothing personal. I'm good with all that. But I'm not going to tell you I'm going to do something that, frankly, I don't want to do. It's just my opinion that there's not going to be an NBA regular season anymore. They're not going to play the balance. But there has to be some sort of play-in situation. So I think Damian Lillard has a chance to go back on his words. He can walk it back. The way he would walk it back is that he said we don't have a true opportunity to get into the playoffs. So I think that the Trailblazers will be given a true opportunity. I think Michelle Roberts has an opportunity to go to the owners and say, listen, this is where my union members are.